Trav is Wingozo. So, comment reply video, special edition. Child Faith asked a question on original 10 Commandments found. Proves LDS Church is Sabbath true. Because it's Babylon. It's a trap. So, prerequisite videos I added to the playlist. The video I did, the Lehi's vision of fall of Great and Abominable Church, that got added into the prerequisites. You still need the first video to understand the second video, but thinking about it today, spinning to the spinners, I decided to include that one with it because there's some basic information that helps follow through with the overall thing to help you with other videos. And so this, likewise, is a consequence of understanding the prerequisite video information, the basics. And so, but this is just a comment reply video. I'm not likely to include it unless YouTube moves it up and hides it, and so I include it not knowingly. We'll see. So, on the video, he first says, I want to go to Zion. So in the video I explained, or was it the prerequisite video? It was the prerequisite video at the end, I think. Those who are not in Utah, and so Child Faith is in Brazil, you guys have to wait. Do not go in advance. And so, even though Child Faith is, I think you're born and raised in the church, aren't you? Yeah, you're not included in the main fulfillment of prophecy. You're the branches of stakes of Zion outside. And so this is the part where once the Exodus commences by the man like Moses, he then will call the Mormons from outside of Utah to come to Zion. And that's the third resurrection, which is coming up in the coming days. So yeah, it's a long time for him to wait, long time for Frederick to wait out in Sweden. Hey Frederick. And a very long time for me. I've been here from the beginning, searching for the Christ. The guy who sent me an email comment that I did the video of, he replied and said, thank you, I'll keep listening to your videos, reading the Book of Mormon, and searching for the Christ. Hello? So. Anyway, by their fruits you shall know them. And so, yeah, Child Faith, he has to wait. And he will know because America will be at civil war, and it's going to be tricky. You're going to need to... The whole world will be at war. And so those on the outside trying to get in, it's going to be tough. So unless the fall of the Great and Abominable Church occurs, as prophesied, next month, in the coming days, according to Revelation, according to prophecy, it's going to be tough for everybody who wants to go to Zion. Because lots of problems. And in the prophecies of the Exodus, with the fall of the church, the man like Moses takes over the authority at that point. The transition of power from the loser insurrectionist to the winner who had his eyes plucked out on the first day of the latter days. I'm mixing prophecy stories with the fulfillments. Because Nelson said, and it's in Way to Perfection, that the keys of government are going to be given to the Christ. They say Jesus, but Jesus doesn't exist. They're the insurrectionists, they're the frauds. And therefore, it's supposed to actually go to the true Christ, so that he can take Mormons who are now having their bubbles bursted with the fall of the church. And so Child Faith, this is what he's having to hope for, along with others who are following, whose wives are not as faithful in believing the truth about the Jewish religion. This is an opportunity for Mormons to awake and arise and go in the third resurrection and go build Zion. Raise up, insurrection, a rising up against, a resurrection, a restoring of the original rising up. You get fooled by Christianity. And so, that's the only thing I wanted in life. I wanted to get to Zion. That's it, that's all. But this church is not going to make it easy for us. So, 9th of Av, if you're not going to watch the prerequisite videos. Plus, the other video I added, because it was in the original 10 Commandments, wasn't it? Yeah. I put the third 9th of Av in there for you. So, it's in the... because that picture needs to go into the prerequisites. But anyway. So, his actual question was, wait, the 10 Commandments are not quoted by Abinadi to correct the contaminated Church of King Noah? First of all, you need to understand the background here. King Noah was the son of Zeniff, who decided to go back to Zion early and fell under the authority of the Lamanites, were put into slavery, had to give tribute to Trump, and thus I couldn't just keep going. It's too funny. I warned you, this is what's going to happen. And and so, King Noah then takes over, and he's a wicked man. But somehow they have the scriptures, but they didn't take the scriptures with them, because you can't easily copy and print out scriptures. It's one of those things you go, what? There's only one set of scriptures, and people had to share. People would preach from the scriptures. And so either they have excellent memorization memories from listening to the preachers back in Zarahemla, or it's not literal history. And so, that's That's what I responded here. And so you have wicked King Noah, who's a theocratic leader, government and religion rolled into one. And he's living within the Lamanite territory and now subject to the Lamanites. And he has 12 apostles, priests. And as 12 apostle priests, the only authority they have is to baptize. Mormon or Alma in the waters of Mormon, which is a very curious picture by Arnold Freeberg. As you see that they don't have their underwear on. Covenant Path underwear. None of them have it. Huh. They're naked. Isn't that Lucifer's plan of happiness? Lucifer's morality, which is the same as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? The morality of Lucifer is quick, cover up, and hide. In the context, it's for nudity, but on the bigger scale, it's for covering up and hiding your crimes and sins, making covenants with your fellow brethren in the covenant path to protect each other with their sins and crimes. In chapter 6. That's Lucifer's happiness plan of morality, his for strength of youth standards and values, YouTube's community guidelines. So you see how Lucifer's doctrines are widespread around the world, especially here in the United States of America, and with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is why the inverted pentagram is on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. And it's also why they had to reinforce the baptismal jumpsuits for girls. Because you can see through. See, previously, they had the boys separated from the girls, so that only the girls would do it, and then only the boys would do it. But, porn is on the rise, so they reinforce the girls so that the boys and girls can go together, and so the boy can continue to have his crush on the girl. Because I remember as a kid, doing baptisms for the dead in Los Angeles Temple as a boy. And so I was 12 years old, and thus was allowed to do it. And our ward had a special temple outing to go to the temple to do baptisms for the dead. And I think it was a stake youth thing, not just with our ward, because we only had like half a dozen total there in Southern California. And so yeah, I was hoping that I would be able to be there to watch Lynette Hymas. Nope, we went separate. Girls went first, obviously, and then when they were done, then the boys came in and they did theirs. Separate shower locker rooms. So no intermingling. So yeah, crushing a boyhood crush. It's just a little crush. We'll see. We'll see. I gave that CD to Maudie for her birthday, and it's too worldly music for her, so she didn't want it, and she tried to give it back. And she's the same girl who said that sex, S-E-X, is a four-letter word. S-E-X, 4 letters. This is the sexual abuse of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is carried over into YouTube. As, dear God, there are twin sisters who had a channel, over 200 videos over 5 years. They're just girls doing videos. Yesterday, I saw that they did a video 3 days ago where they're saying goodbye for now. I'm going, goodbye for now? What's this all about? Because YouTube was recommending it for me. So I clicked on it, found out their twin sisters been doing videos for 5 years. Cute, harmless, innocent girls doing videos for 5 years. Over 200 videos, about 250 something. Sisters. And there they were in this video saying YouTube called them porn. If there's ever a time to rise up and boot that bleeping bleep hole of a CEO who took over last year, it's now. Because I'm aware, and I've been telling you, that dozens, probably over 100 women doing videos about women's stuff are gone. Many of these women have hundreds of videos, had, and now are gone. There is an all-out sexual abuse assault on women on YouTube. It is getting out of control. And now sisters. And they said they were 18 in the video, which means for the past 5 years, they were at least 12 or 13 years old when they started, depending on when their birthday is. And so this is child sexual abuse by YouTube. Last year, the former CEO of YouTube got fired, forced to resign, claimed it was to spend more time with her family, because of the terrorist bullying abuse against children on YouTube. So the new guy takes over, and a video I did months ago, where I just blurted it out during the video, as a joke. YouTube will cover up and hide women's channels, hot bikinis, or I can't remember what I had said, and then how to make a bomb all over the place, easy accessed for children. And so I did it. I tested it. Sure enough, the women's thumbnails were blurred, but how to build a bomb, pages upon pages upon pages, all easily accessible, not signed in. Talk about your utter failure to understand what you were supposed to do to protect children. God. And so, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has their bloodied fingerprints all over it, as they are obsessed with porn. And yet the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is going all out for their Zion to have child bride polygamy. And don't forget the prostitution of tithing. I mean, this goes beyond Beam and Moat. And so, this is memories on the corner of my mind. But he put the mountains of Utah there. He knows what's going on. I don't know, Friedberg, he knows. And he's got the Mormons who are in roid rage. So yeah, he knows. He knows. Okay, so the Ten Commandments that Abinadi talks about comes from Mosiah 12, or as a result of Mosiah 12. And then he again wraps it up in Mosiah 15. And so I'm assuming, therefore, that in 13 and 14 he's going over the Ten Commandments. Because I typed in the associative memory passage, and so the 5 search results came up. And so the wicked priests are interrogating Abinadi. And verse 19 in chapter 12 of Moses, Yah. Man like Moses, Yah. Ishmael. There's a guttural in there. I can't do gutturals. And so its name of Yah is sun god. Moses, Yah. Name of Yah, sun god. Man like Moses, sun god, Emmanuel. Sun god at noonday. And so these priests, who have only authority to baptize, just like missionaries, just like the Quorum of the 12, under Joseph, they were not prophets, they were not seers, they were not revelators. And our current prophets don't even claim translator. They don't even claim to prophesy. They don't even claim to reveal. They won't do it. And so, why are you claiming the title if you're not going to do it? I've been doing it the whole time. People can now judge me. Oh no, I could be wrong. I told the email guy, as he said he was going to search for the Messiah, or the Christ, a Redeemer, that he better hurry because the latter days are over and we're now entering into the prophesied part of the Book of Mormon of utter destruction. So I hope you can find him quick in the coming days. Oh, Mormons. Mormons, Mormons, Mormons. See, I don't hate you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to save your lives. I'm trying to get to Zion. I can't do it myself. And yet, abuse. The previous video before this morning's one had an immediate 2 thumbs down. And that wasn't from the normal guy. The normal guy has still gone missing. He's taken off the whole weekend here. Interesting. So we'll see if he came back for Sunday, because his church is now over with, so he should be showing his face if he went to church, or if he's still on vacation. See, I know there are patterns, and he's been doing it for years. So yeah, I know his patterns. I saw the transition with the new changeover every year for the different hours for church. I see the change. You know, they think they're clever because they're hiding behind a computer with no name or IP address for me to see. But nope, there are other ways to identify who you are and identify where you are. He's in Utah. Okay, so, verse 19. The priests began to question Abinadi that they might cross him. Sound familiar, Mormon apologists? That thereby they might have wherewith to accuse him. Naughty, naughty. But he answered them boldly, Jewish, not Christian, and withstood all their questions. Yea, to their astonishment. What? But Jesus was a Jew. The name Jesus is right there. For he did withstand them in all their questions, and did confound them in all their words. That's hilarious. Mormons think they've confounded me because they think they can cross me and trick me and call me ugly and say my room's a mess. They don't like my tone. And lie about me. We gotcha! Yeah, they're just throwing out accusations like Trump does, hoping something sticks, and then they can go, aha! There is a basement in the pizza parlor. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. And so one of them came forward and said, What meaneth the words which are written, and which have been taught by our fathers, saying? By who? Who said it? There's a reason why. But Bruce R. McConkie knew, and Bruce R. McConkie put the footnotes in so that you would know who it is that said it, which was my associative memory for finding it. Verse 21, How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publishes Salem. Peace. That bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy God reigneth. Okay? And he continues on quoting from that. And so it's Isaiah 52. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, and that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy God reigneth. In 2 Nephi chapter 25 verse 1, Nephi explains that the learning of the Jews' language of the Egyptians that he is writing the Book of Mormon in, 116 pages, includes the prophecies of Isaiah. Prophecies, predictions of the future. Not Christian, remember? And so, just as Mormons do to me, the priest tried to do to Abinadi. Mormons have written numerous comments condemning me for attacking, speaking ill, saying that Mormons need to repent. Mormons are wicked, need to come out of the church. Be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord. Get out of the church. And saying that I need to be faith promoting about the church. I was recommended a video today even. It was a Mormon channel, and it seems to have been run by a cute blonde. And it's about section 132. And she got for her program a guy to talk about polygamy from section 132. And I'm looking at the cute blonde and I'm thinking, wow, yeah, all women are beautiful. Would love to mate with them, but there's something going on in here that makes me want to run away and hide. Fortunately, she would be the one running away and hiding from me. So I wouldn't have to worry about it. It's just, oh my God. And so yeah, it's obvious. A woman doing a channel focused solely on polygamy as a faith-promoting thing for Mormons. And I have no idea if she knows and understands that the law of chastity has been changed for polygamy and that she's supposed to obey. And I don't know if she's using her channel to get guys to, try to pick her up as a bride, or if she's already married and she doesn't understand polygamy is not really polygamy, it's polygyny, not polyandry. I don't know. I didn't watch the video. I didn't go to her channel and check it out. Like I did with the sisters. Because I know that if I were to click on her video, that YouTube would flood my feed with her video and all other kinds of Mormon nonsense crap. And then if I'd try to delete them, don't ever show this again, I'd be punished by YouTube. It hasn't been too long ago since I was finally freed from my bondage into YouTube, denying me access to see YouTube videos signed in. Bleep hole CEO's gotta go. What's up, Google? It's just sad. And I talk about them and then stalking me? That's creepy. Get a life, guys. It's the Sabbath. The first day of the week, not the seventh. You're not allowed to work on the Sabbath. Oh, no. Committing crime and sin on the Sabbath is perfectly acceptable if you're defending the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yeah. Okay, whatever. And so, yeah, this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, you can't call us to repentance because Isaiah says that you're supposed to preach good things, faith-promoting things, like that cute blonde. You got to talk about polygamy in a good way or no way. Or the highway. And so that's what triggered Abinadi to then bring up the Ten Commandments. Because they're already supposed to know this. They're the ones who have authority to baptize people into the church, which means they got to know about the church in order to convince people to join the church and get baptized. And so, yes, the Waters of Mormon is a contrast for you in the Book of Mormon, where King Noah and his priests are preaching to violate the Ten Commandments, and Alma is preaching only the words of Abinadi, not his own words, like the priests were, like King Noah was. Because Alma says, I don't have authority to lead the church. I only have authority to baptize as a quorum of the 12 apostles. And so he only preaches the words of the prophet Abinadi. How is he a prophet? God came to him and said, call the people to repentance. Ta-da! He had a first vision. And so it's actually predicting the future, because it's not literal history. Thus Isaiah from 2nd Nephi chapter 25 verse 1. Nephi is saying, I use the words, or I put in the words of Nephi, which was actually Joseph Smith Sr. who put in the 116 pages rewritten. Thus Isaiah. And that they are prophecy of Emmanuel, who is the man like Moses and Yah from Genesis chapter 1, who was given the new name Yahweh. And so, that's why I've been telling you, the Roman god is Jupiter, the Greek god is Zeus, the Hebrew god is Yah, the Egyptian god is Amun, Amunel, God Amun, Emmanuel of Isaiah. They're all the same deity. They just have different languages, call them by the different names, and then have different stories that are supposed to be the pattern with Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19. A man like Moses, thus the Exodus, the resurrection against the insurrectionists of the original order. And so Isaiah is talking about the latter-day Zion. That child faith is saying, I want to go to Zion. And then went and asked me about this. See how it all ties in together? Now, about him not referring to Isaiah, it's important to understand why he's not doing it. It's the same reason why the author of Matthew didn't name Isaiah. They know what's going on. They're doing that on purpose, to try to teach you. And so, thus, Matthew is telling a story about the prophesied man like Moses of the latter days, Emmanuel, and says the quote from Isaiah, but doesn't say that it was Isaiah's prophecy. Because if we knew it was Isaiah's prophecy, we'd know that he left out the revelation of the day and the hour and added something completely bogus to take you away from Emmanuel as the name, which by interpretation is God with us. No, it's not. That's a linguistic tell of the person who put it in and when he put it in. Because Isaiah doesn't have it, does it? Book of Mormon doesn't have it, does it? Only Matthew has it, doesn't it? Okay? So that's why he's doing this. You as the reader should already know that they've been hyping up Isaiah as the great prophet, as the one who's prophesying in textual form about the latter days, of which other authors of the Jews have been telling story form versions of it. And so the Book of Mormon likewise is a story form version of the textual prophecies. And there's the one in the rewritten 116 pages talking about the different prophets that we're supposed to assume came from the Egyptian brass plates, of all the different prophets who were using textual prophecies. And then you have the one who does the parable prophecy of the olive trees, Jacob 5. And so, yeah, it's a prophecy. And that's why there's a burning of the field at the end. And the church didn't want you to know about that. They purposely left it out of their Book of Mormon video. And I did the video on it. Because the church are acting exactly like wicked King Noah and the 12 apostles. no authority but to baptize and preach the Jewish Book of Mormon and the Jewish Joseph Smith. Okay? And there's one other thing. Oh, feet. Section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants has a plagiarism of the prophecy of Zechariah. Right? I think it's Zechariah. He shall put his what are these wounds in your hands? And they shall say, these are the wounds with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Joseph Smith in section 85 adds feet. And so here you have Isaiah. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings. And so, even though Avraham Gileadi disputed with the church concerning Isaiah's talking about the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says that's Utah. This is Zion. This is it, the valley. And he said, no, it has to do with Jerusalem. Mount Zion over there. And, well, you're both wrong, but partly right for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because they're the insurrectionists. And the Christ, who would be a Mormon through Hiram, is to be the Christ to start his ministry among Mormons in the valley of the top of the mountains, Utah, to get Mormons to go in the Exodus to Zion. And so that's the mission that Isaiah is prophesying about. That he is the prophesied one who will put his foot upon the mountains and will be wounded in his hands and in his feet. And Mormons are going to say, what are these wounds in your hands and your feet? That he showed you in a YouTube video, the blisters. And he had the beard. And Mormons didn't care. They tried to murder him. This is how wicked Mormons are. This is how scary it is. This is how concerned I am. Not only that I'm all by myself and no little honey bunny to be with me, but no Zion. Utter destruction is coming, Mormons, and you're not scared enough. You're still arguing and debating, trying to deny and claim Jesus is the Christ. You don't have a clue that Jesus never showed, because it's not the right religion. Okay? And so, yeah, the Ten Commandments, let's go back to your comment, make sure I answered it. And so, yeah, he's not correcting the contamination. He was already doing that when he was originally preaching to them. This, talking about the Ten Commandments, was a specific response to the one who is supposed to know the doctrine of the religion and is trying to use it against him to try to trip him up, because he's misinterpreted it, obviously. He's denying prophecy and revelation, and Abinadi calls him out on it. You're worshiping Jesus, not the man like Moses. You're creating an idol god to Jesus and not looking forth for the signs of the coming of the man like Moses, which, boom, start of his ministry in Utah, to Mormons. And thus, Isaiah, a virgin, sign in the heavens, shall conceive and bear a son, and call his name Emmanuel. Revelation 12, verses 1, 2, and 5, which the Joseph Smith translation moves to verse 3, because the Book of Mormon has it right there in the first book and the first chapter in the 8th to 10th verses. 23rd September 2017. And thus the new picture that I did today. Sabbath of the Lord, Lord of the Sabbath, because the endings are the X for Sabbath, and thus the two X's for the final day of darkness of the sun for 7 at the 7th year, 2017, 2024, 7 years. The Sabbath years. This is the Sabbath year. And so sure enough, 8 April 2024 was the last day of the Jewish religious calendar. And on October 2nd this year will be the last day of the Jewish civil calendar with its accompanying lunar eclipse. The one for the religious calendar was Purim for the lunar eclipse. So thus we have 9th Av coming up, when the 2 Jerusalem temples were destroyed and was used in the Book of Mormon as a prophecy for the great and abominable church's destruction and fall. Revelation, actually. 9th Av. Because that's what it starts you with in 2017. The first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, king of Judah. Who was he? The brother of Nebuchadnezzar, who was put on the throne of the newly conquered Judah. Utah. So who was put on the throne of America by a foreign government for 2017? Who claimed he was going to be king? Who claimed he's the chosen one? Somebody had to do it. And so 7 years later, the final end. Where X marks the spot for the location of Zion. And here he is again, threatening to be king. 3rd Nephi chapter 7. No king, no king, na 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 na. We'll see. So is the church going to fall? They tried in 2000 or 2020. All the Exodus was fulfilled except for the fall. And Mormons chose not to go anyway. So you got spared, Mormons. It's a good thing, because putting the feet on the mount of Zeus, Olympus, getting the wounds in his hands and his feet, occurred in 2022, June 6. Dear God. Nightmares. So, yeah, that's how it's being played out there. The contrasting as well as the prophecy for the latter days. King Noah and his 12 priests are Nelson and his 12 apostles. Because we're in the latter days. We now know who the characters are. So that's what you do. King Noah is now Nelson. It's an established fact now. It got fulfilled. We now know. Can't get mad at me. Get mad at the Book of Mormon. Get mad at Joseph Smith Sr. I dare you. And so, yeah, the priests are the 12 apostles. And so the people who wanted to murder Abinadi and wanted to lock him up, yeah, you Mormons, well done, you fulfilled Book of Mormon prophecy again. So, yeah, you see that pattern. Lehi preaches to the people want to murder him. Exodus. Ta-da. And so, yeah, he's burned. In like manner, so will you be burned. The day that shall burn as an oven. The abomination of desolation. These are the patterns you look for with the stories. And so you can see additional revelations, but since you aren't the Christ, they may be a little tough for you to catch on to. But the ones that involve Nelson and the 12 apostles, you should be able to easily spot those now. And the ones about you should easily be able to spot those now. Because you're child faith, you're the one who's the fulfillment of the scripture involving bringing you from the lands of the north and the east and the south and the... Let's go to Jeremiah to quote it. 23. And so, verse 5, I will raise unto David. Insurrection, resurrection. Raise. Unto David. Seed, egg, baby. David. 18th dynasty, David Moses's. With the Ammon priesthood. A righteous branch. A king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days. So it's not Roman period Jesus. Judah, Utah, phonetically the same, shall be saved. They don't want to be saved. They're purposely going to prove the scripture prophecies false. Good job, Mormons. And Israel shall dwell safely. And this shall be his name, Lord our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Man like Moses. Moses, the Exodus. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel. A man like Moses. Emmanuel. One mighty and strong. Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19. This is what he's referring to. Out of the north country, from all countries, even Brazil, whither I have driven them. The Church of Brigham Young, with his missionaries, kept you out of Utah after the United States shut them down. But with Heber J. Grant starting up the church again, and then thus starting up missionary work again, this is when they kept people around the world. You know, Zion is where you are. Do not come to Zion. Stay away. Yeah, that's, you got scattered. They're purposely keeping people scattered. And it's strange because Brigham Young purposely brought in all of his converts for the sole purpose to rise up against America. And so the church didn't want to do that anymore because they wanted to increase their wealth, to have it spread out all over the world, to use the different economies of the world to increase their wealth for the latter days, their goal. And so that's their only intention there. Is Heber J. Grant purposely organized the corporation to use Mormons as chattel, cash cows, to make the church rich for their plot to overthrow the governments of the world and take over as King of Kings, Lord of Lords with Zion, their Zion. And so when Joseph Smith gets the keys of Moses in the Kirtland Temple on the third day of Passover, not Easter, Passover, when Elijah came suddenly to his temple, Joseph knew what he was doing. Don't call him Christian. And so Moses' keys are those keys. The leading of the people from the north and from all countries whither I have driven them. And so the man like Moses is for the Christ of the church. And Brigham Young says, no, Peter, James, and John. So Nelson did the photo op with trying to steal the keys from statue idol god Peter at the Vatican Temple. So verse 91 of section 107, and the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses, the Christ. And Joseph Smith was Messiah ben Joseph of the Jews, the forerunner to set up the church and the temple and the rituals so that Mormons would get sealed and receive their endowments and thus would have babies for the coming of their Mormon Christ. And you would know him by his gifts of seer, revelator, translator, prophet. You would know they're false when they deny prophecy, when they deny revelation, when they don't even allow translation. That always disturbed me. We believe the Bible to be the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't allow for translator as their title, and they refuse to translate the Bible correctly. President Benson's first presidency statement on why we use the King James Version of the Bible. Yeah, Article of Faith number 8. But Joseph used the King James Version, so we are. Joseph kept trying to correct the translation. God. And even said that the biblical Hebrew text was wrong. And you don't believe him, do you? You believe the false prophet of Jesus. And you get punked and have no clue what the Lord of the Sabbath means. So, alright. Do I have that picture? I do, man, bro. And I'm going to have to put Heretic 4. Gonna have to do it. I'm forced. I have no choice.